So in the story of COIN HEIST, the students of Haverford Friends rally together when their school comes under financial trouble and it threatens the existence of the school. So they all decide to pull off this heist as a way to save it. We like to think of this book as Breakfast Club meets Ocean's 11. It's a coming-of-age story, and it's really about how these teens get together and learn more about what's really going on in each other's lives. The school, Haverford Friends, is modeled on my alma mater, where we are now, Germantown Academy. It's the kind of place that would inspire that type of loyalty that the students have for their own school in the COIN HEIST. By far, the biggest challenge was the heist itself. Getting the details right, making it something that was challenging for a team of young people to pull off. It's no small feat to imagine how to break into the very highly secured United States Mint. I visited the Mint a few times. I actually had a young baby at the time, so I went in wearing my baby. That made me look very innocent. Well, the Franklin Institute is a very famous science museum here in Philadelphia. When it came time to writing this book, I decided to set the prom in the Franklin Institute. So that's where all these characters go at the end of the book. I thought it was a little bit more of an iconic setting to put the book on the main line, which is really known as this very wealthy set of suburbs outside of Philadelphia. I'd have to say my favorite character to write turned out to be Alice. She's a bit of a nerd. She's a very smart character, but she's also not always the most self-aware, and I thought that dynamic was really interesting. Benny's was one of the more interesting ones, I think, because it's so different from me. He's a guy, he's from the Dominican Republic, he's from North Philly, so his background is very, very different from mine, but that in a way is kind of liberating when you're writing characters that completely allows you to get away from yourself. It really helps to watch movies to get ideas about creating your own heist. I rewatched some of my favorites like Ocean's 11, Ronin, and Topkapi, Eve, and Heat. Of course, I'd love to see COIN HEIST as a movie. I could imagine Elle Fanning as Alice, and maybe Kiernan Shipka as Dakota, maybe a young James Franco type for Jason. And Benny, I'm not sure. I'd love to see some up-and-comer discovered in that role. I always knew I wanted to be a writer. I always loved books. As soon as I started reading them, I kind of knew that I wanted to write them. It also helped that my dad wrote books at night, and I would watch him at his desk, and I always just thought it seemed like this magical thing that happened, and I wanted to do that. It was actually suggested to me by a writing teacher that saw that I was writing about teen characters and thought that it was a good fit for my voice. So it hadn't occurred to me initially, but once I got that bit of advice and I went back and started reading YA literature again, I realized that how much it had inspired me and how much all of these books that I'd read had sort of sunk in. I just really fell in love with the genre all over again, and I realized that, in fact, it was something that I really love to do. Adaptive Books has been great to work with. They're just incredibly smart and dedicated and hardworking people, and just on both a creative side and a promotional side, they've been really supportive of me as an author, and so it's just been a real pleasure. So the advice I'd give to any aspiring author is just to keep in mind that it can be a really long haul from even just beginning a novel to finishing one, let alone going on this journey to publication. It's just really important to keep the joy in the process and remember why you're doing it, and keep that at the forefront even when things can be challenging.